Hey boys and girls, Jaded Dragon Ball Z fan 69420 here, back at it with another video. I'm just kidding, it's Rising Jericho, it's Bob. What's up, guys? So, there's a reason I try not to go on Twitter, except for things I'm sharing with the community, because some things happen that get blown out of proportion, and people are very, very dumb on the platform sometimes. I don't think I need to explain this. So, as you can see from the, the title of the video, I have a thing or two to say, and I'll just let the actual video play first in full before I actually comment on it.
This is just my opinion, but I genuinely believe that had it not been for Team 4-Star and their Dragon Ball Z Abridged series, Dragon Ball wouldn't have remained nearly as popular in the Western world during the time where not much new content surrounding the property was being released. And that's not to slight the works or efforts of official sources. They do an incredible job, but it's to speak to the opportunity that's being left on the table, perhaps without proper consideration.
Okay, so the exact wording of what Totally Not Mark here is saying, by the way, I respect the man's work. I don't follow him a lot myself, but I do respect his body of work. So what he is saying here in no vague terms is that he believes that Dragon Ball Z Abridged is responsible for maintaining Dragon Ball Z's popularity in the West and would not be nearly as popular if Dragon Ball Z Abridged had not happened. Now, I'm getting a little up in the air in years. I've seen some shit. I've been around YouTube, the Dragon Ball Z community, since like 2008, 2009. I've been around for a while. And I would just like to say that in a fairly measured response, there is a grain of truth to what he's saying here, but not nearly. And this isn't nearly as overblown as the one camp is saying Dragon Ball Z Abridged literally kept it alive in the West. And the other camp is saying, you forgot the games, it's bullshit. My response is more in the middle. I would like to think it's a little more nuanced, but I will definitely say I'm leaning a little more towards the camp that says, yeah, no, it wasn't near as big as you think. So where I specifically say that is, let me just say first, yes, obviously, Dragon Ball Z Abridged did bring a lot of people into the show as a whole. I'm not denying that in the slightest. But I would also like to point out that the Dragon Ball Z community by itself, no DBZ included, has been expensive for a fairly long while. Now, I've amassed a few tabs here, as you can see. I'm gonna tackle this from a couple of angles. So sorry about that. First, I would like to actually say I've been following Dragon Ball Z Abridged for a long time, since episode 5. The one where I think that's the one where Vegeta Nappa did actually get to Earth. So I've been following the series for a long while, and I'm going to say straight up, the series didn't really the series has always been popular to a decent capacity, but it never really took off big time until the episode with Goku fighting Frieza and Goku Pop Super Saiyan. And to give an exact time frame of this dropped in June 17th, 2012, and this blew way the fuck up. Like this, now, my memory might not be as good as it should be, but I want to say this might have been the first video of theirs to pass 1 million views. It's definitely the very first one that passed 10 million views. Because if you go over here to their actual view history, or rather like the view count, Broly is sitting at a clean 29 mil. We'll get back to him. Episode 1, the re-upload, is at 26 mil, and the third one is sitting at comfy 25. This is no coincidence. These three right here are definitely the ones that gel out the most. Episode 1 was the lead for a long fucking time. It's got some of those views. I can't believe it actually has so many views. I wonder if it's just because of the re-upload. Broly's the only thing to have overtaken it since. And I would like to remind everyone that I do, in fact, have this sorted in view count. And this came out in 2012. Now, I'm going to work something with you. So, the argument here is that Dragon Ball Z Abridged kept Dragon Ball Z alive in the West, or just overall, in the drought of content from when. It's a little vague. I'm going to assume he probably means in terms of the drought from like the end of the Toonami run to when Battle of Gods was announced. I'm going to speculate this. Now, I'm not totally not Mark. I don't know if he looks more at the Western releases or if he's looking specifically at Japanese releases. Because the Japanese releases for Dragon Ball Z, yeah, unless you're looking specifically at the games, then yeah, there wasn't really too much happening. That's because Toei's focused more on, like One Piece and stuff. It's like nothing for Sailor Moon. And trying to jog my memory offhand. Akira Toriyama was really doing much. He released a couple of one-shots. There was that one crossover with Toriko and One Piece, and I think there was something else in there. There's a couple of things. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that no, there wasn't no content coming up, but I will admit it definitely was a bit of a drip feed. So my point to this is that the Dragon Ball Z community was alive and thriving well before this jutted out. Like, again, I'm pretty damn sure they did not pass 1 million views until episode 30 happened with Super Saiyan Goku. So let's continue with that. So I'm going to also say for a fact that there's a lot of subsets of communities for Dragon Ball Z. Now, I've talked to people on Twitter. Some of them agree with me. Others are like, are you sure this is what pretty much all the people I was in circles with talking about? I would like to introduce you to the Dragon Ball Z AMV community. Now, this is not sorted by views. This is general stuff. Now, this isn't going to qualify a lot of it because a lot of it's cherry picking because, we got one from 6 years ago, 5 years ago. But keep an eye on these numbers. These numbers are not small. 53 mil 4 years ago, 1.7 mil 6 years ago. Keep an eye on the dates. And I specifically say that because look for anything that is more than this one's, 9 years ago. For example, we have one here 10 years ago. I don't know what that song is. 6, 6, 10. There's going to be a lot. 10 as well. Now, obviously, not a lot of these are going to pass, like even 10 million for anything that was beyond a certain cap because, YouTube copyrights and all that stuff. But you are going to see that, yeah, even this 4.6 mil 10 years ago. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of different communities that go into Dragon Ball Z. One thing I will definitely say is that, again, I'm going to say that the Abridged series did bring a lot of people into it. But I'm going to be generous and say that even without Abridged, it's still been pretty goddamn popular. How long has it been since Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood ended? And when people say that is irrelevant, no. Let me double check his exact wording.
Remain nearly as popular in the Western world during the time where not much new content surrounding the property was being released.
I don't think I want to say that Alchemist Brotherhood was not popular for a while after it was released. Now, you might say it's comparing apples to oranges. And I get that. I do fully understand that. So let me bridge out a little bit more. So let's go around a time frame when Battle of Gods was released, and let's take this a little bit further back. If you go, again, like I said, Japanese side, not too much was happening. I will grant that. From the American side, oh my god, no, there was a lot of things happening all the time. Again, the games, obviously. One thing that I think not a lot of people are mentioning on Twitter, when they're not having complete shit fit, is the box sets. Now, if you're an older viewer, you probably remember the singles that Funimation used to put out for the DVD releases or the Toonami run. The orange bricks were the first complete way to actually watch Dragon Ball Z from cover to cover without having to jump through a major hoops. Like my dad still has all of his single DVDs. It's impressive. So, 2007, you got a lot of stuff. 2007, and the orange bricks would release all the way up until 2009. And then you got more stuff like Blu-rays and stuff. My point being is that Funimation was definitely maintaining the marketing train for a good long goddamn time. Like even like after Budokai 3 released, because if you look at it from the angle of if you go with the games argument, you're not going to get too much ground, but Budokai 3 was huge. Tenkaichi 3 was also huge. Yeah, the personal is huge in its own right. No, those were very relevant. So, no, these definitely helped to fill the gap quite a bit. I can speak from experience. There was a lot of Funimation merchandising going on back in the day. Still is, and there always has been. And one last demographic I would like to look at. One last angle I would like to take this from. the absolute mad bastards in Central South America. Oh my god, these guys are nuts, and I love them for it. So you may have heard a legend of, for the last episode of Dragon Ball Super, they were airing in like town squares and shit like that. The last episode, it was crazy. Then Toei Animation tried sending a season desist letter. They ignored it. They completely ignored it, from what I understand. I haven't been able to go find the story exactly, but I have seen this side up before, and yeah, no. The guys in Central South America, even if us as colonizing Americans went as into the series as we are, they certainly would have kept it going for a very long time. So yeah, no, a combination of, you know, the games, Funimation's licensing deals, and keeping the hype train going. Central South America, the AMV community, everything really encapsulates everything what you would expect the series to be. DBZA is good for the series, but I would say if this series didn't exist, you'd still have like 80 to 90% of your audience left over. Like, no, it's you don't understand how absolutely monumental this series is in the Western world, and this includes, you know, North America, South America, Europe especially. Like, I'm amazed that I'm pretty sure totally no, Mark lives in Ireland, right? I'm not dreaming that. I feel like that might be the case. Anyway, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get canceled on Twitter. Oopsie. But no, seriously, a lot of these views you also see conflated as well as repeats, are from repeated watches, and the fans love the series to death. Like, absolutely. They do good stuff. Older age content not holding up though. There's some shit's not aged well, but on the whole, yeah. Now, Cal's Kingdom, I did briefly bring it up because he mentioned that this series is literally what caused people to keep making the Piccolo is Gohan's dad joke, and that's a bad thing because that really brings bad perspective into the series, as well as, you know, even Scott Kaizeneko has gone on record in saying that, no, we regret doing this joke. Check their Patreon posts. He's literally talked about it at length. It was bad. They rolled with it because it was popular and they had to go with it. But, you know, details, that's essentially what I'm trying to say. I think this post from me actually perfectly like encapsulates it. You know, games, merchandising, multiple box set releases from Funimation, Toonami. I didn't even mention the Toonami run, because you gotta remember, when you watch something as a kid, you don't just magically forget about it when you become an adult, right? Like, I'm not dreaming that. Like, from the years of like 2005 to 2012, like, no millennials just didn't magically forget about Dragon Ball Z. Just saying. The sheer existence of Central South America. Yeah. And if you want a really good idea, this one post from one of the people that actually lives there. In my country, 5 p.m. was the sacred hour. Everything and everyone stopped whatever the hell was going on at the time. Yes, even funerals and bereavements. Hell, the only time we got review episodes 11 p.m. Fellas, make it quick. It's 5 p.m. I have to go watch Goku. Yeah, they're hardcore down there. And this isn't just out of him. I've also talked about this with a friend who lives in Panama. I've talked about this with some other people that live in various aspects down there. Like in... Am I talking to someone in Brazil? I feel like I might have, but details. So, again, what I'm saying, period, is that people are conflating this badly. Mark is just saying that Dragon Ball Z would not be relevant. I think yeah. He's not saying it wouldn't be as relevant in the West, that's a very vague term. And of course, obviously, he's posted on Twitter afterwards that this was badly worded. And of course, a dumb opinion from him got blown out of proportion, obviously. My personal opinion, I think it's just an uninformed opinion. Because when Dragon Ball Z Abridged, it is huge. Granted, it can feel like there's not much else going on in the ecosphere of Dragon Ball Z when you focus so hard on that one series. Because it's so big, it's so fucking huge. Look at all these conventions and stuff, look at this community, and so on and so forth. Now, when you look at that, there is a lot of other aspects from the international community. The international community for this series is massive, obviously. I had one more point I was actually going to bring up. It's completely slipped my mind. Yeah. Go figure. I'll probably think about it in post. But yeah, no. Again, my opinion is that I think it's just an uninformed opinion. If you're working with Dragon Ball Z Abridged 2, I guess you would also probably have a skewed opinion. Again, I respect Mark's work. I respect most of his opinions too. So most of them. But I'm just going to say, maybe he's learned from the situation. Don't be one of those dumbasses on Twitter and is like, heard your Dragon Ball Z Abridged made Dragon Ball Z popular. How young are you? Seriously. Also, don't be one of those dipshits who has only watched Dragon Ball Z through Abridged and has never watched the original source material. I'm going to gatekeep a little bit. If you're one of those people, I am going to antagonize you to watch at least one episode. One episode of Dragon Ball Z. Just one. That's all I'm going to ask of you. Just one. Pick your favorite episode and watch it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. I can tell I'm going to get absolutely fucked on YouTube and on Twitter, but you know what? Someone's got to say it. Someone's got to have a fairly adult opinion sometimes. May as well be me.